Hey everybody, it's Bill from Washington Gun Law. Where are we today? Where the heck you think we are? We're in Knoxville. We are at the Gun Owners of America's Goals Conference. I got a very special guest here. You know, we've been talking about this groundswell movement that's going on in New Jersey, and I'm telling you, there's something to it. So today, with the help of a mayor, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about this is how you start the Second Amendment revolution. Hey everybody, look who I got with me, Mayor Daniel Francisco of Englishtown, New Jersey. Check it out, Mayor. Thanks for being here.
Great to see you, Will.
Listen, we are talking about this revolution, this grassroots movement that actually began in Englishtown. So I want you to take the viewers through what got you going down this road, and then of course you had to have a city council go along with this. So kind of tell us about that initial journey when you said, I want to do something for the lawful responsible gun owners in New Jersey.
Sure. So I had a very good friend of mine that I think we all know, John Petrolino, great journalist.
Good journalist.
He actually lives 2 towns over from me in New Jersey. He's very close to me, but he works out on a ship. He's always away. He's always like sending me texts at 12 o'clock when he wakes up to go to work. And so we talk a lot. We strategize. We talk about things going on in the movement. And it was actually us talking together, broaching this subject, because the carry killer bill in New Jersey from 2022 was based off of my court order when I got my carry permit after Francisco v. Cook, that federal case. So we said, how can we, fight this outside the scope of the courts? Why don't we take one town to start as a bellwether and abolish the municipal portion of the fees that the state legislators
which is accounts to $150 per applicant.
$150. It was $50 prior, all of which went to the state. Then they made it $200, and that's the drug that hooks you, right? They give it to the municipality, so even the right-leaning districts, Republican districts, they want to hold on to it. I can't tell you how many Republican committees and mayors I've spoken to who will not abolish it.
Well, part of it is probably how they're financially managing those cities, that they need the money too, right? That's an issue.
Well, if you need to steal from your citizens to usurp their natural rights, to me that's abhorrent, but not in Englishtown, right? So we started a wildfire. We abolished the fee. We still had one councilman who voted against it. It was not unanimous, even in my town. But we passed it. We took the resolution that our attorney, Jonathan Cohen, great lawyer, he crafted this resolution to keep the attorney general out of our hairs. He cannot come after us because we are accepting the money per the state statute in 2C58-4. But as soon as they remit their invoice after they're adjudicated, we'll hand that $150 right back to them.
Once it's your money, you can do whatever you want.
We can do whatever we want.
That's right.
So we stand on the side of natural rights. We want to protect our residents, and moreover, we want to spread this to other towns. So there's
well, let's talk about that because I did this video and I was like, hey, check out what this mayor out in New Jersey is doing. By the time the video got out, I'm getting news stories that, this town's doing it. So why don't you tell the viewers about how a little spark can start a fire?
Yep, so you have Joe Laporto, who's a great guy. They have the New Jersey Firearm Owner Syndicate. They're another nonprofit activism group in New Jersey. I've been going around with them. He's been going around to a bunch of towns. He's in North Jersey. I'm kind of in Central Jersey, so we're in different areas. And we've gone to towns like Hopatcong, Dumont, and they are now starting to pass their own nullification. A borough of Franklin, that was the second one to do, and I spoke at that meeting with Joe. So now we're evangelizing and taking this message to the public. We're going out to all of these towns, to these mayors, to these committee people, and trying to convince them that this is not just the political thing to do, but the moral thing to do.
Right. Yeah. Are you finding yourself that you're having mayors reach out to you and be like, hey, I need to talk to you privately about this? And are you finding that you're getting mayors from outside the state of New Jersey that want to talk to you about this?
I've been contacted by people in every state that you can imagine. I've had law enforcement contact me, mayors contact me. I've had several people in New Jersey contact me to tell me that they wish they could do it, but they can't for political reasons. So I've seen it all. But the key to this movement is we're going to get a critical minority of towns to engage in this nullification process. And once we reach a certain number, there may or may not be litigation that follows.
That's right, depending on whether it's appropriate. But let's back out now and get outside of Englishtown and what you're doing with the concealed carry license. There's this kind of groundswell movement happening in New Jersey in general right now. And some of it may have to do with the fact that the Court of Appeals is having a bit of a political makeover.
Yes.
But there seems to be this newfound energy in New Jersey at the local level. Explain to me, is everyone just hit a tipping point, or is it you think that things like what Englishtown is doing is kind of motivating these people? What do you think's going on out there?
I think it's a confluence of different things. One, you have the momentum at the federal level, you alluded to. Plenty of appointments in the federal courts, in the Supreme Court that birthed this environment where we could have Bruin, where we could have these Third Circuit decisions that are going to alter the terrain in New Jersey politically.
Significantly.
But in addition, I always say this cliche phrase, pressure creates diamonds, and New Jersey is the most difficult environment to be an activist. If you can be effective in New Jersey, you can be effective anywhere.
And that's what I want everyone in America to know right now, because we just got done talking about living behind enemy lines.
Yep.
We're both in very deep blue states, and it's very easy to sit there and say there's no saving this state, there's nothing we can do about it, and yet here we are in New Jersey, a state that, my state's kind of new to the civilian disarmament club.
Right.
Your state has been doing it for a long time.
We have a long history.
It's ingrained into the fabric of your state government, and yet you're finding a way to combat back. So to all of the people out there living in blue states, whether they're politicians or they're voters or whatever, what is your message to them? How can they do this?
Well, look, we could talk about different tactics, right? I'm talking overtly about politics, about democracy, but I'm a minority in my state even, right? There's not a lot of me's or people that will think like me or act like me. But don't forget culture, which is what I kind of alluded to in my remarks. You can leverage the momentum through culture and change people's opinions without resorting to politics. I've told people many times in New Jersey, I was actually speaking to someone who just came up to me a little while ago, most people are not familiar with firearms. It's foreign to them. Right. So you know what activism...
Especially those in the gun control world, they are incredibly naive to it.
In New Jersey, it's a taboo thing. You don't speak about firearms, even in polite company, right? Because you're scared of getting some kind of consequence from someone. Do you know what activism looks like in New Jersey? Taking 10 people, whether they're left, right, center, upside down, does not matter. Take 10 people who are gun virgins, who have never touched a firearm in their life, and just expose them. Go take them to the range. Now, 9 of them will never touch a gun again.
Right, but there's that one.
One of them will go, now the mystery is sort of dissolved. That fear is sort of dissolved, and now I'm familiar with it. So now their mind is going to be a little bit more open when it comes to hearing the rhetoric side of things. So expose people through culture and look for those ways in which you can leverage your power, even when you're the minority, right? Look, there's a philosophy of the remnant in politics, where what does it take to change a society? Conventionally, people say 50+1, right? That's democracy, but it's not. It's about 3 or 4%.
Yeah.
And you know where you can look at? The American Revolution.
Yeah.
How many of the people that lived here that were against the crown actually picked up arms?
Yeah, got all in on it. Yeah,
3%, and we birthed a new republic.
Yeah.
So if they can do that, right, and they were way less leveraged, way less powerful, way less armed than the King of England, in New Jersey, I think we can pass some new gun laws.
Listen, the final thing I want to talk to you about, and I want to kind of piggyback on what you said on the stage up there, this combating the other side, and how maybe it isn't our words that are going to make the difference.
Yep.
It's their words that make a difference. I want you to talk to the folks that are listening there about that, because I thought you brought up a really excellent point, and I've seen this in action already, and it works. So talk to them about that.
Right, so I'm a disciple of a guy named Michael Malice. I don't know if you know him, but he's a philosopher. He's actually a political anarchist. He doesn't subscribe to partisan philosophy. And he says all the time, your audience that you think you're influencing with your rhetoric, not only are they not listening, they're not capable of understanding you. So often, when you have point, counterpoint, people on the right wing or people in the liberty movement make the engage in the fallacy and the mistake of, well, let me explain to you my rhetoric. If they're not receptive to it, you can talk till you're blue in the face.
Yep.
You can have the best rhetoric and the best arguments, the best points, the best data, and none of that matters. Sometimes people need a mirror, right? They just need to see the fallacy of their own viewpoint, and that is the only way in which it will click for them, that a light bulb will go off. So we do that with activism, right? We don't argue with people who post gun maps, right? We took down the gun map in New York several years ago in Westchester County. We didn't argue with them and say, hey, you should take the gun map because that's wrong to do. No, we just did it to them and put signs on their property. That's what made their lizard brain understand that what they were doing was not palatable and they needed to stop. Right. So you've got to be creative sometimes with people that are, you can have a debate with someone who shares a foundation with you.
Yes.
If they don't share a foundation with you, it's going to be very difficult to communicate. And that's when you have to look for these alternative measures to try to get your point across.
So it's not so much as getting them to come to our way of thinking as to start questioning their way of thinking.
You know what's powerful? Ridicule.
Insult.
You may think it's funny. Ridicule, insulting, comedy, humor. Saul Alinsky talks about this in Rules for Radicals, and even though he was a radical leftist, his tactics are ideologically
Yes, they are.
neutral.
They
What
are.
do you think people do in politics and campaigns? They insult each other, they mudsling. The negativity works. So if you delegitimize people, that actually changes their behavior. Now they'll start reacting to you differently. So there's lots of tactics you can use, and you have to have an open mind and look at these fresh angles when you're trying to get to a political conclusion.
It's great advice. And it's great advice because, as I always say on the channel, listen, we can win this debate because it's very simple. We got the law, we got the Constitution, and we got common sense all on our side. And sometimes that mirror is what's needed to show the other side exactly that.
Yep.
Listen, he is Mayor Daniel Francisco, Englishtown, New Jersey. Mayor, thanks a million for being here, and most importantly, thank you for sticking up for all the lawful and responsible gun owners in your town.
Thank you
should be
for
very
having
grateful.
me.
Thank you. Okay, hey, listen, I want to really thank Mayor Daniel Francisco for coming all the way down here, spending time and geeking out with us on the channel. Listen, you guys can do this no matter what jurisdiction you are in. It is time to roll up your sleeves and start fighting. If you're going to stay in one of these blue states, let me give you a piece of advice. I would rather see you die on your feet than live on your knees. Listen, if you got any more questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you click on that link right there and you tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to the monthly newsletter, that information's down there in the description box. And then most importantly, let's all remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.